All right, everybody, welcome to another Team Easy EU and UK training call. It is Sunday evening, March 10th, and in 9 days, Eden and I are going to get on a flight and fly to Birmingham in the UK to participate in the first ever celebration over there. And I just want to know if you haven't bought your ticket to that event, if you're not planning on going to that event, the big question is, why not? Why not? Because what if your entire life could change just based on the 2 days that you spend there? What if one piece of information, what if one story, what if one technique could dramatically change the trajectory of your life forever? What if? That's the big question. What if? And just ask yourself, if what your plans are for that weekend, what are you going to be doing with your time that weekend anyway? And I get it. Many of you have kids and your kids have games and things like that. But what if those 2 days put you in a position so you never had to worry about exchanging, time with your children again, or your loved ones again, or traveling again? Like, what if is the big question. And, you're on this call, and that means that some part of you wants something more in your life. Some part of you wants something different in your life. So there's still time to get to that event. I think that it's, traveling in Europe is so simple, comparatively speaking, to here in the States. It just is. It's just so much simpler because you can hop on a train, you can catch a quick little flight. It's affordable, and it's an investment into yourself and into your life and into your future. So I really, really encourage you guys to get there. Now, there's that event. Then there is, on Wednesday, I think the 27th, we're doing a small event in Belgium. And then on Saturday, is a celebration event in Amsterdam, which we're also participating. So obviously, I see, extreme health challenges notwithstanding, as a reason to get there. I can totally appreciate that. So, guys, get to these events like your life depends on it. I mean, the opportunity to hear from the owners directly in an intimate area. If you're in Amsterdam or Belgium, the Amsterdam celebration event is a non-negotiable with Jim and Kathy. Like, no excuses for that. No excuses to be there. None whatsoever. It's a quick tube. You guys can all hop on a train for 2 hours to go from Belgium to Amsterdam, or wherever you are in the Netherlands, to Amsterdam, and get to that event. Because guys, guess what? Those markets are growing and it's getting exciting. Those markets are growing and it's starting to get exciting. And those countries are going to pop. I promise you. Your friends, your family, people you went to school with, things like that, they're going to be a part of this company. It's only a matter of time. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And then it's a matter of who, right? Who got them started. So that's enough for events. Now, tonight's training, what I want to kind of just have a conversation with you guys about is something that's really, really important. And it comes up a lot. And that's this idea of a question I'm going to ask you. Just type in the chat box, because this is always a conversation. How many of you, just when it comes to any aspect of the business, just wish you had more confidence? Just type in the chat box, how many of you wish you had more confidence in any area of the business? It could be social media, it could be presenting, it could be following up, it could be enrolling, it could be overcoming objections, it could be any of the fundamentals or any of the bigger things. How many of you wish it could be connecting out in person? It could be prospecting in the real world. It could be doing past, present, future. How many of you, just type in the chat box, just wish you had more confidence in any area of the business? How many of you wish you had more confidence in using the products more consistently, just actually making the effort to use the products the way they were designed, getting to the gym on a daily basis? Or how many of you just wish you felt more confident in your body, whatever it may be? Like, how many of you just wish you had more confidence in any area? Okay, so there's a couple of yeses. Now, here's what I know. Yes to all, okay? There's about 35 of you on this call. 7 or 8 of you have answered so far, maybe 13 of you have answered. So what I will assume then is that for the 20 or so of you that did not respond to the question, you feel perfectly confident, and over the next 90 days, I should see you enrolling and rank advancing like crazy, because you're just super confident, you got it all figured out. Or I'll give you the chance to ask again. I'll give you guys the opportunity again to answer the question. How many of you would like to have a little bit more confidence when it comes to any area of building the business? I'll give you one more chance just to be honest with yourselves. Okay, thank you. Guys, when I do these calls, when Eden does these calls, when Emma does the call, when Michael does the call, when Michelle does, whoever does these calls, okay? Whenever we're here training, we're not training for ourselves. You're gonna get out of these calls, you're gonna get out of a training, whatever you put into it. So if you're sitting at home right now, just kind of half in, half out, not really paying attention, not wanting to engage, not wanting to answer questions, guys, you're going to continue to struggle. You'll struggle in your business, you'll struggle in life, because so much about being successful in life is about engagement. It's about excitement. It's about enthusiasm. It's about playing full out. It's about participation. It's about engagement. It's about saying, you know what, I want this so badly. I want it so badly that I'm going to participate at a level as if my life depends on it, even if it's answering a simple little question. Even if it's answering a simple little question, I'm so committed. I'm so serious about changing my life in some way, and changing your life could be different for all of you. For some of you, it's an extra 500 euros or 500 pounds a month. For some of you, it's 5,000 pounds a month. For some of you, have big, huge dreams of earning 20, 30,000 euros or pounds a month. But no matter what that is for you and why you're a part of this, until you are willing to obsessively and enthusiastically engage in every component of this, as if your life depended on it, you will struggle. You will struggle. And I don't know about you guys, but I've struggled in my life, and I've been successful in my life. I've had money. I've been broke. Having money and being successful, way more fun. Because how many of you, just type in the chat box, here's another opportunity for you to engage and participate like your life depends on it. How many of you are just kind of tired of struggling in any area? How many of you are just kind of tired of struggling? Kind of tired of struggling to pay your bills, struggling to not be able to travel, struggling to have to say no to your children or to your family, having to say no to yourself, struggling to continue to go to the same job day after day where you don't feel like yourself, struggling to feel like you're a slave to your business. How many of you are just, quite frankly, tired of it? You're just tired of it. I know what that feels like. I get what it's like. But one of the biggest things, one of the huge things was that changed for me was I decided to become enthusiastic, to engage with an attitude of abundance, to have an attitude of yes, an attitude of yes, an attitude of I'm going to engage. I'm going to be enthusiastic. I'm going to be positive. I'm going to be stuck in. I'm going to show up every single day like my life depends on it, because guess what? It does. Even when I was lacking confidence, I woke up with an enthusiasm, a passion. And to this day, if you can't feel that from me, to this day, how many of you, for those of you guys, just type in the chat box, for those of you guys that have met me personally, not over Zoom, you've met me personally, how many of you would agree that when I say that I show up with enthusiasm and passion and intention and consistency, how many of you would agree that that's been your experience of me? Just one-on-one or in a group, right? Like, that's me. That's how I show up. Why? Because I used to do the whole toe in, toe out. I used to do the whole I'm going to wear a mask. I used to do the ego thing. I used to do the fighting to be right about my limitations things. I used to do the me against the world thing. I used to do the let me prove myself to all of you thing. I used to do the please everyone give me external validation so I can feel good about myself thing. I used to do all of those things. All of them. And how far did that get me? It got me about as far as I can spit, which isn't very far. And so I decided to engage on a day-to-day, minute-to-minute basis. I started to learn what it meant to really be present in my life. I started to really start to focus on what are the things I can be absolutely radically grateful for in my life right now in this moment. I started to really focus on how do I want to feel? What are the actions I want to cultivate? What are the habits I want to instill in my life? What are the routines and the rituals that are a necessity for me to live the life that I wanted, that I deserve? What are those non-negotiables? What are the shoulds that I can turn into a must? What are the things in my life that I was saying I can't do when in actuality they just weren't a priority? I'm asking you that question. What if you next time you find yourself saying you can't, just say it's not a priority and ask yourself how that feels. I can't reach out to 3 people a day. I don't have time. Okay. Just say it's not a priority to reach out to 3 people. I can't get to the event. It's my third cousin's, second child's 4th birthday party. Just say it's a priority not to be at the event. It's okay. I can't. Just say it's a priority for you not to create freedom in your life. Just say it's a priority for you not to put on that financial oxygen mask and see how that feels. Type in the chat box. How would that feel if you guys if you really start to hold yourself accountable? If you really start to hold yourself accountable, ask yourself the question of how would it feel if you started to say it's not a priority instead of I can't? How would it feel? If you're just being really honest with yourself. And then we're gonna get into the confidence thing because it's all connected. Pretty uncomfortable, right? And now notice what you're doing. Notice how you're not engaging because I'm asking you a question that's disrupting something that you don't want to hear. I'm disrupting you. I'm penetrating you. I'm making you go into your heart right now and go into your mind and go, I don't want to answer that question because it doesn't feel good. But you know what doesn't feel good? Doing the same things over and over again and expecting different results. That doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. Not making yourself a priority. It doesn't feel good not turning your shoulds into musts, which is what I learned from Tony Robbins. It doesn't feel good. And for some of you, it's bringing clarity, which is great. But I'm here to wake you up. I'm here to disrupt you. I'm here to tell you to stop saying you don't have time. Stop saying you don't have the skills. Stop saying that you don't have people in your life that are supporting you. Stop saying that people can't afford it. Stop saying that you don't have the knowledge. Just stop, because quite frankly, and I posted this in the group the other day, it's exhausting. Just type in the chat right now. How many of you are exhausted from the continual story that you've been telling yourself? How many of you are just tired of it? Like, how many of you are just literally just so exhausted of it? Because I know I was so tired. I was so exhausted. I was so tired. Exactly, Katie, of the same old ish. I was so tired of it. I was so exhausted from it. So I started to ask myself the question, like, what if? What might be possible if I made the decision to learn the skills? What might be possible if I made the decision to acquire the knowledge? What might be possible if I made the decision to extend my network beyond a group of unsupportive people? Because, quick tangent, if you find yourself in an environment of unsupportive people, make no mistake that the most unsupportive person in your life is you being unsupportive of yourself. Say that one more time. If you find yourself in an environment of unsupportive people, then you are being the most unsupportive person of yourself. If that rings true for some of you, just let me know. Just let me know. If you find yourself in an environment of unsupportive people, I promise you that you, it starts with you, are the least supportive person of yourself. Harsh, brutal, rough, but I'm here to disrupt you. That's why I stopped by tonight. That's why. That's why. I stopped by here to disrupt you. I stopped by here tonight because I love you enough to be honest with you. Because people in my life were honest enough with me. Oscar Wilde says a true friend stabs you in the front. Guess what? When it comes to stabbing you in the front, I will always be your best friend. I think those of you that know that about me. Those that are new, welcome. This is how it is. I'm a stand for your greatness, plain and simple. So then how do you start to cultivate confidence? Where does confidence come from? Where does confidence come from? We are confident when we know how to do something. We're confident when we know how to do something. Every single person on this line, whether you're watching live or watching the recording, and if you're watching the recording, I hope this shakes your head up as much as it does people who are watching live. That's the intention. But every person on this line has some area of their life in which you are confident. Maybe you're confident in the kitchen. Maybe you're confident as a parent. Maybe you're confident running. Maybe you're confident in your job. Maybe you're confident maybe you're confident playing sports. Every single one of you, just type in the chat box, how many of you have just one area of your life where you feel confident? Just one area, just a single area, just one, you're confident. Mom, right? Esther says yes. Just, again, opportunity, engage, be engaged, answer the questions, play, okay? On the golf course, right? Competent, confidence, confidence, confidence. On the soccer field, right? Okay, yes. The reason you feel confident in that area, whatever that area is for you, is because you have competence in that area. Because you have competence in that area. Let's say that again. You are confident when you are competent. We are confident when we are competent. When we are good at doing something, we are confident in it. How many of you would agree with that, right? When we are competent, when I know how to do something, I'm going to be confident. Very simple. I'm not confident as a golfer because I'm not competent at it. I was very confident as a footballer, as a soccer player, because I was competent at it. I'm confident as a trainer because I'm competent at it. And the thing is, how do we gain competence? How do you gain competence? How do you become good at something? By doing it, by training yourself, by deliberately practicing, intentionally, every single day, no matter how much time you have, creating the space. We all have an extra 30 minutes. We all have an extra 15 minutes to practice, to become competent so we can become confident. And as we become more competent, our belief rises. And as our belief rises, we become more confident. But we've got to be willing to become competent. However, in order for us to take those consistent daily steps in order to create our competence, there's a singular thing that comes before confidence, and it comes before competence. Can anyone tell me what that is? Before confidence and before competence comes one other thing. One other thing. Belief comes in the process. Confidence comes in the process. These are great so far. These are great. These are great. No one's hit it yet. These are great. Keep trying. Before competence, Danae is closest. There's another term for it. Danae is closest. Courage. Courage comes before competence. Before I take that first step, I gotta have the courage to take that first step. Now, how much courage does it take? How much courage does it take, guys? How many seconds of courage does it take to reach out to somebody so you can increase your competence? How many seconds? Literally, how many seconds does it take to type a little quick chat that says, hey, it's so good to see you. How have you been? Coffee sometime. It takes a second, a click, 5 seconds. 5 seconds of courage. 1 to 5 seconds of courage to start to create competence. Now, let's just say that I'm really excited. We're going to use let's use the 5 second mark. Let's use the 5 second mark, because if you do it in 1 second, you guys are like speed typers. That's amazing. Well, let's just say it takes 5 seconds. 5 seconds to have the 5 seconds of courage to increase your confidence so that you can become more confident. So you can get better, so you can become more confident. 5 seconds. So that means if I were to reach out to 20 people, right? 20 people is 100 seconds, or just over a minute. Just over a minute's worth of confidence. Now, how many of you believe that if you were to start to connect with 20 people a day, which would take you about a minute and a half, right? If you were to, how quickly do you think your competence would rise? How quickly do you think you'd get better at anything? At anything. Very fast. Very fast. Think about it. Break it down to the ridiculous. So are you willing to have some courage every single day in the areas where you aren't confident? And Danae, I'll come to that in just a moment. And that's a limiting belief, Danae, but I'll crack that one right for you, I promise. 5 minutes a day of courage compounded over time to create competence so you can be exceedingly confident. How many of you are willing? How many of you are willing to have a little bit more courage? Now, here's the fascinating thing about courage. Courage is both instinctive and optional. It's instinctive and optional. There's two kinds of courage, right? There is my life is on the line or somebody else's life is on the line. I'm going to have the courage to take a dramatic, radical action in order to protect myself, protect someone I love. For those of you guys that are parents, if you saw your kid in the middle of the street and there was a car coming, guess what? How many of you are going to have the courage, most likely, to sprint out in front of that car, knock the kid out of the way, and take the hit, right? If I saw my niece or if I saw anybody, I would probably do that. Instinctive courage, which means you're capable of it. You're capable of doing something so extreme. Just consider that for a moment. You're capable of activating something in your mind so extreme. And yet, when it comes to something so simple, so non-threatening, we cower. We cower. And at what cost? We have the courage to jump off the train tracks and to get somebody off the railroad when the train is coming. And yet, we choose instead to allow ourselves to stay stuck on the track and allow the train to mow us over. Day in, day out, on repeat, hypnotic, like a zombie. Here comes the train. I know I should probably move. Next day you wake up. Here comes the train. I know I should probably. Here comes the train. I know I should probably. Day in, day out, you possess all the power in the world to make a simple decision to get out of the way of the train. And yet, we don't. We become hypnotized. We become zombies. We're asleep. And I want you to wake up. I want you to wake up. And I want you to engage in your life more fully. I want you to engage in your relationships more fully. I want you to engage with your children more fully. I want you to engage with your partner more fully. I want you to engage with your coworkers more fully. I want you to engage with life, the universe, God, spirit, whatever you want to call it. I want you to engage at such a high level. At such a high level that courage, competence, and confidence become your identity. And that's the new word that I just brought to the call, identity. Right now, your identity says, I'm going to stay on the tracks and get run over. But what if? What if you cultivated a confidence so significant that your identity was always one of, I can make this happen. I'm going to make this happen. This is happening in spite of what any of you might say, think, or believe, because I'm confident. Now, Danae, to answer your question, confidence and cocky, two sides of the same coin. For every shadow, there's light. For every good, there's evil. For every right, there's wrong. For every positive, there's negative. We live in a world of polarities. Confidence and cockiness, two sides of the same coin. When you choose to show up in an authentically confident way, you'll never be mistaken for cocky. When you live from a place of ego and anger, and when you feel like you need to prove things to people, and when you need validation, that's when the cockiness comes out. But when you live in service and you trust yourself, and you've done something so many times that you can do with your eyes closed because you're competent with it, that's confidence. Now, how do I know this? How do I know this so intimately? Can anyone tell me how I know this two-sided coin so intimately? How do I know the dark side of confidence so intimately? Or arrogance, same thing. How do I know this dark side so intimately? Because I've been it. I've been it. I've been egotistical. I've been arrogant. I've been cocky. I've been all about me. I've been all about needing external validation. I've been all about fighting to hold on to these stories. I've been all about not letting go of certain things. I've been all about justification. I've been all about holding on to crap, holding things over people's heads, not practicing forgiveness, not practicing gratitude. I've been all of those things. But I've also lived here and continue to live here for the most part. Continue to live here for the most part. A few seconds, a few minutes, a few hours of courage every single day to create the competence to feel empowered to do something over time well, consistently and persistently, is going to lead to confidence. And guess what? Guess what? Your confidence is what will draw people to you. Your confidence is what people will say yes to. Your certainty is what will enroll people into your vision and help people be enrolled into their own. What's so cool about life is we're the only animals that have the conscious ability to choose and change our behavior. We're the only animals in this amazing, huge universe, at least here on Earth, that we're aware of. We're the only animals, we're the universe or God or evolution, whatever you believe in. We're the only animals that can consciously choose our behavior and our attitude, no matter what environment we were born into. No matter what. We're the only ones. Every day, you have the opportunity to recondition and reprogram how you feel about yourself, the stories that you tell yourself, and how you're choosing to show up. We're the only animals. What a gift. What a gift. And what a shame when we throw it away. What a shame when we don't take advantage of it. What a shame when we don't, like I said, this call is about it, like I said from the beginning. What a shame when we don't show up with enthusiasm, when we don't engage, when we don't wake up every morning in spite of how much crap we might be experiencing. Guys, some of you know my story and others of you don't, but I'll save it for another time. Like, I assure you, I've seen the depths of hell, and I promise you, doing the internal work and showing up and taking it on is so worth it. It's so worth it. So we're at the end of the hour. I hope that some of you have heard what I've said tonight and are going to make a new decision to have some more courage. Get on the plane, get on the train, get your butt to Birmingham. Come give me a hug. Make a difference in your life. Go inspire other people. Have the courage to create competence so you can have a new confidence. And guess what the best part is? You do all of that so that you can turn around and pay it forward and show other people that it doesn't matter where they come from, doesn't matter how they were raised, doesn't matter what their programming is, doesn't matter their conditioning, that in any moment, at any time, because we were gifted the ability to choose who we are in this world, we can change like that. Have a great evening, everybody.